Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to Pasadena Jewish Temple and Center. Tonight we're celebrating that it is Shabbat once again. It happens every Friday. But tonight is a little bit different. We've got a couple of special things going on in our program that you will see. Tonight we are presenting the Fuchs Award for a couple of very special young people. You'll hear more about that in a minute. And we are honored by the presence of Alan Edson, who is here on behalf of the NAACP here in Pasadena, and I'll give him a more complete introduction in a moment. But for right now, please welcome Shabbat into your homes, into your hearts, just as you welcomed us into your homes. We're going to begin with Shalom Aleichem on page 13.
Let's join together in the last one of the stanzas of the prayer, Tzeitchem L'Shalom. We join together. Tzeitchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
And raise our spirits, we are going to raise the light in this room a little bit by lighting the candles to delight in the Sabbath.
We join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kilshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. We are going to continue ascending this ladder from the regular weekday, which we're letting go of. We'll get back to the important work of co-creating the world in about 25 hours, but for right now we're ascending in holiness, starting with the first psalm, Lechun Ranana, on page number 15.
And as we continue to explore different ways of receiving Shabbat, today some of the melodies will be a little different. Today some of the prayers will be approached in a different way. We are together at the top of page 15. We join together. Lechun Ranana l'Adonai nari'a letzur isheinu נקדמה פניו בתורה 40 שנה עקוד ודור, ואומר עם טועה לבבם, והם לא ידעו דרך עלי, אשר נשפטתי באפי, אם יבואון אל מנוחתי. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני וברכו שמו, בזרו מיום ליום ישועתו, ספרו הגויים. ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירם הים ומלואו, ירם הים ומלואו. לפני אדוני קיווה לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, בימים באמונתו.
לך אדוני. We welcome in Shabbat intentionally with this song that literally translates into "Come, my beloved," or "Welcome, my beloved." We speak to Shabbat as an honored guest with Lecha Dodi on page 21. Page 21.
Tonight we will chant, sing, hum, Yai Lai Lai, the first 2 verses, and when we're done with the 2 verses, we'll turn the page and we'll continue with the last 2 verses. So Shamor veZachor, and then Likrat, all the way to Yaminu Smol and Boi veShalom.
לקראת קהלה
Shabbat, B'nai Shabbat, Nekabela. Boi v'shalom, עטרת bala, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני הארץ סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת, פני שבת נקבלה.
On page 23, we have the final psalm of Kabbalat Shabbat. We were talking about ascending a ladder. This is considered the seventh rung, if you will. And the rabbis say there are many ways to welcome in Shabbat, or how do you know when Shabbat has started? One of the ways is it's dark outside. Once the sun goes down, it's Shabbat no matter what. Another way to initiate Shabbat even before then is to light candles or to make Kiddush. But another way, if you don't have any candles and you don't have any wine, God bless you, and it's not dark yet, but you can't wait, you can initiate Shabbat for yourself with this psalm, Psalm number 92, that's found in our prayer book on page 23, Mizmor Shir Liyom HaShabbat.
Let's join together. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך העליון, לזמר לשמך העליון. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך העליון, לזמר לשמך העליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עשור ועלי נבל, עלי גיון וכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך העליון, לזמר לשמך העליון. כי שימחתני אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידיך, במעשה ידיך ארנן. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך העליון, לזמר לשמך העליון. גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך העליון, לזמר לשמך העליון, ולזמר לשמך
Before we continue with our evening prayers of Mari, we are going to pause. It is a tradition in some places to pause between Kabbalat, Shabbat, and Mari for a little bit of Torah learning, a little bit of teaching. There are Mishnayot here in your prayer book. What we're going to do is a different kind of learning. We're going to be presenting the Fuchs Award. And this is a new one on me. I think this is my first Fuchs.
It is indeed.
So I'm really honored to tell you a little bit about how this award came into being. And then Cantor Ruth is going to introduce our recipients. I think they're going to stay exactly where they are, but we're going to speak and honor them
Absolutely.
here. Okay. And they still get the award, which is nice. So you should know that Morton Fuchs was born in Tokaj, Hungary on June 3rd, 1911, the youngest of 4 children of Henrik Fuchs and Ida Bilitzer Fuchs. Both of Morton's parents were descendants of famous Hungarian rabbis. Ilona, Morton's wife, was also born in Tokaj on March 31st, 1918, the fourth of 5 daughters of Salomon Engel and Flora Engel. Ilona's 2 eldest sisters, Renee and Margit, managed to emigrate to the USA in 1937, with Margit eventually settling in Pasadena. Ilona, her 2 remaining sisters, and their parents were deported in 1944 to Auschwitz, where both parents perished. Morton was drafted in 1940 into the Hungarian Army's forced labor battalions for Jewish men. After the end of the war, he returned to Tokaj to find that his entire family had perished in the Holocaust. Morton and Ilona were among the fewer than 100 Jewish survivors from Tokaj, a town that was home to more than 1,000 Jews before the war. They were married in 1946. Their son Henry was born in 1948, and their daughter Marta in 1950. They and their children escaped Hungary in December 1956 in the wake of the Hungarian Revolution. After a year's stay in New Jersey, they arrived in Pasadena in July 1958. Both of their children became B'nai Mitzvah and also were active in temple and community activities. Morton was honored here as Congregant of the Year in 1983. He was the Gabbai of PJTC, means one of the people here who critical help during our services, for over 30 years. For decades, he also volunteered at neighborhood polling places, believing strongly in the privilege to vote in America. Ilona was active for decades in our sisterhood, ORT, and Hadassah. She received the sisterhood's prestigious Torah Fund's Chai Olam Award in 1990 and the Jewish Federation's Women Who Make a Difference Award in 1999. She actually created the Torah Flower Crowns Project for Shavuot, which you saw an example of here when you came here for Shavuot services, and the Sisterhood Embroidered Simcha and Memorial Tablecloths Project. After retiring from teaching at Pasadena City College, she became a volunteer at the Huntington Hospital gift shop and a teacher of dress design at the Altadena Senior Center. Morton passed away in the year 2000. In 2007, Ilona moved to Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where she was active in the temple and taught the Kehillah members to make flower crowns for Shavuot. She was the featured speaker at the 2008 Durham Chapel Hill Yom HaShoah commemoration. Ilona passed away in 2016. Morton and Ilona are buried at the Home of Peace Cemetery in Los Angeles. Since Morton and Ilona were always encouraging young people with their studies, they made the decision to donate a sum of money to the temple to honor B'nai Mitzvah students. Since 2001, the Fuchs Award has been celebrating the achievements of one or more students each year who demonstrate dedication to their studies, service to the temple, and tikkun olam, repairing the world through community service. And I'm now going to hand it over to Cantor Ruth to reveal who are our award winners this year.
So for those of you who know you're waiting for something special, I can't wait to share with you these beautiful, beautiful two people who are the recipients. So the recipients are Sam Svonkin and Rebecca Debowski. Congratulations. Sam and Rebecca have both been deeply engaged in the further exploring their Jewish identity with passion after they became B'nai Mitzvah. Both honored their leadership skills last year by learning to plan and implement Kadima programs via the PJTC USY's Kadima Committee. They also continue to read Torah at PJTC, both during the high holidays and when attending a bar or bat mitzvah of their younger peers. This year, Sam joined the USY board as a VP of organization, keeping track of meeting minutes and putting together the programming presentation that recently earned the PJTC USY Chapter of Excellence. He also took on the role of membership VP, ensuring newcomers felt welcomed and engaged. Sam was recently re-elected to the VP organization's position for next year and is already hard at work developing better systems for keeping records of the dynamic brainstorming and programming within the PJTC USY. Rebecca joined the USY board this year as a co-vice president of communications, rolling out the PJTC USY's brand new Instagram account, helping spearhead our family photograph fundraiser, who many of you congregants have shared, and I saw some of those pictures, creating photo collages and brainstorming new and exciting ways to connect with one another. Rebecca was recently elected to next year's USY board as the co-vice president for social action and Tikkun Olam, where she's excited to pursue her passion for justice throughout everywhere, and particularly looking at it through the Jewish lens. I want to wish Rebecca and Sam, who I adore both, and I know how wonderful, wonderful young people they are, Mazal Tov, congratulations, and I'm very, very proud of both of you.
Mazel Tov and Yasher Koach to both of you on our behalf and on behalf of the whole PJTC community. And I know Morton and Alona would be pleased with the selection of these two fine young people.
Absolutely.
We're going to now go from holy occasion to holy occasion and begin our evening Mariv prayers that begin with our call to prayer at the Baruch on page 28. Page 28. If you're able, wherever you are, please rise.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Mevorach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai
Melech haolam. Asher b'dvar ma'av v'rabim b'chol Hashem. ומעביר יום ומעביר לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך שמו,
אמרי ורבי,
Amen.
אהבת
You may be
עולם
seated.
בית ישראל עמך, אהבת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו.
page 29, page 29.
כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה, ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך שמו.
אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, ויהם שמוע תשמעו מצוות תשמעו.
You can read the next passage of the Shema at your own pace at the bottom of page 30, page 30. Let's join together for the third passage of the Shema at the top of page 31, page 31. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Yisrael, v'amarta alehem, v'asu lahem tzitzit, al kanfei videhem l'dorotam, v'nanu al tzitzit hakanaf betil techelet, v'haya lechem letzitzit, Uritem oto, uzkartem et kol mitzvot Adonai, vasitem otam, velo taturu, acharei levavchem, v'acharei nechem, asher atem zonim acharechem, leman tizkeru, vasitem et kol mitzvotai, v'item kedoshim lelochechem, Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lechem l'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Emet. We continue on page 32, page 32.
מי כמוך בנים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש נורא, תהילות אוסף פלט, מלכותך ראו בניך ונאמר כפר אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Amen. We continue with a blessing to God who allows us to lie down in peace and wake up again in peace on page 33, Hashkivenu.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום ועמידנו מלכנו לחיים פרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ותקנינו ואת צדקם לפניך ונאמר לפניך וצל כנפיך תסתירנו כי אל שומרנו מצילנו אתה מלכנו ורחומתה שמור צאתנו אוהינו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
Amen. Page 34, page 34.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Please rise for the Chatzi Kaddish, after which we'll go right into the silent Amidah for Shabbat evening. And by silent, I mean private. You can use the words on the page of the Amidah that begin on page 35b. Lean on the tradition if you have no words for this moment. But whatever you have to say to God this evening is just fine, and this is the place to do it. We'll start with the Chatzi Kaddish on page 34.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמר רבה וילמד יברך חירותה וימליך מלכותה בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב וימרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי יומיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה לילה מן כל ברכה שמחתה ושירתה
תושבחתה ונחמתה דמינה דמה
וימרו.
Amen. The Shabbat Amidah begins on page 35b. You may be seated when your prayers have concluded.
מודים אנחנו לך, שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו, ואלוהי אבותינו, לעולם ועד. מודים אנחנו לך, שאתה הוא אדוני
We conclude our private meditation with the Kaddish Shalem on page 48, page 48.
יתקדל ויתקדש שם ברבה,
Amen.
ואלמוד דברך חירותה וימליך מלכותה, וחייכונו וימכונו וחי תכל בית ישראל, בגלה ובזמר קרי וימרו.
Amen. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה, יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר יתרום ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה.
בריחו.
להעמיד כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירה בלמה ימרו.
Amen.
תתקבל צלות ולבאות מכל ישראל קודם אבוהון דבשמיא וימרו.
Amen.
יהי שלמה משמיא וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל וימרו.
Amen. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל וימרו. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Welcome. In case you're just joining us, this is Pasadena Jewish Temple and Center. It's not like the radio where you don't know what you're going to get. You had to really work to get here. So all the more so, we appreciate it. We now have a very special guest, and I asked the Social Justice Committee here at PJTC to prepare an introduction for our guest. Normally, I would love it if they were here to present him to you, but we decided we wanted to be as safe as we could in this time, and so they shared this, and I'm going to share it with you on behalf of the Social Justice Committee. The Social Justice Committee is honored to have Alan Edson, president of the Pasadena branch of the NAACP, to speak to us tonight about the current condition of racial justice. This is certainly not Alan's first time at PJTC. Alan joined us when we were mourning the death of victims of the murder at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. He joined us for our Martin Luther King Social Justice Shabbat. He spoke at our celebration of Rabbi Marv Gross, who chaired the Social Justice Committee during its first 3 years. In fact, it feels a bit like we can still feel Marv's spirit here in our sanctuary tonight. Alan and Marv had become good friends, both pledged to strengthen the ties between the Black community and the NAACP and the Jewish community and PJTC's Social Justice Committee. We want to honor that commitment. That relationship was certainly strengthened last week. Under the leadership of Alan and Pablo Alvarado, who also spoke at our Marv celebration, the NAACP and the National Day Laborers Organizing Network, the NDLON, organized a huge public protest against police misconduct and racism a week ago Tuesday. It included a car caravan up to Northwest Pasadena and then a rally at City Hall. More than 1,200 cars and close to 3,500 people participated in that event. It was probably the largest public protest in Pasadena history. The Social Justice Committee was well represented. We counted 58 members who participated in the caravan and rally. Alan not only helped organize this remarkable protest, he was also directing traffic. He is a man of many skills. Alan is a Pasadena native. His grandfather was a notable community activist. The W.D. Edson Neighborhood Improvement Association is named for him. Alan attended Pasadena Public Schools, attended PCC, and earned a BA in economics from the University of California at Berkeley. Alan worked 15 years in the aerospace industry, most of it with Lockheed. Alan has worked for over 20 years in nonprofit management, focusing primarily on issues of environmental justice. He formed his own environmental remediation company. In 2006, his company was awarded the Emerging Business of the Year in San Francisco. Alan was elected president of the Pasadena branch of the NAACP last year. He has already done a great deal to increase its membership, its visibility, and its influence. Last week's huge protest march is only one example. Alan is also the father of three, Ishmael, Kali, and Nadira. It is my great pleasure and honor on behalf of the Social Justice Committee and the whole Pasadena Temple and Center community to welcome Alan Edson.
Thank you. Wow, good evening. This is a special honor for me. I was sitting on the side, and my heart was just fluttering. And I felt the spirit of Rabbi Marvin Gross say, Alan, it's going to be all right. So I want to thank Rabbi Carrier and the Social Justice Committee, Andrea Mark, and Peter Dreyer, for inviting me to speak here this evening. I understand that Shabbat is a very special spiritual day in the Jewish community, and I want to respect that. Shabbat Shalom. I try to respect the environments that I participate in, so I did a little Google search of Shabbat. And Shabbat is a day of rest, but it's not, as we would say in the community, a day of chilling. It's a day to get closer to God. And I believe in this time that we're experiencing is important that anyone who believes seek to get closer to God. We need God's strength, perseverance, if we're going to have success in changing the racial environment here in America, but also get back to the path that God has been leading us on. We have strayed, and our strain has, I think we see it in COVID-19, but also in the reaction of communities all over this country demanding reform in police departments. I want to thank the rabbi for the most gracious introduction. And if I could share a secret, thank you also, Peter. I've been asked to talk about my thoughts that the current situation, going on in America regarding Black Lives Matter. And I was also suggested that I should also ask the Jewish community how they can support the Black struggle for freedom, justice, and equality. I want to tell you guys a little bit about myself. As the introduction stated, I was born and raised in Pasadena. I wasn't a bad child, but I got out and did my thing. And at some point in life, we have a life-changing experience. And for me, that came in the summer of 1991. I attended my 20th year high school class reunion. And it was a great event, time for dancing, drinking, and having fun and getting with friends that I hadn't seen in 20 years. But two things struck me. One of my classmates won a Pulitzer Prize. Another of my classmates won a Daytime Emmy. And at that moment, it struck me that I was underachieving. And, I had a good job, had a good career. I was able to make my own choices, do the things I wanted to do in life, but something was missing. And what was missing for me is that I needed to get close to God. And when God found me, He found me on the brink of the pit of fire. And there's a few lines of a song that I'm going to share with you that can really depict my circumstance. There's a group called Steely Dan, and they had a song, and I'm just going to share a few lines of it. And it goes something like this. In the corner of my eye, I saw you at Rudy's. You were very high. You were high. And that was my life in June of 1991. But in October of 1991, searching for peace, I accepted Islam. And it's changed my life forever. I wanted to share a few of the beliefs of Muslims and also the pillars that hold up the faith. First, we believe in one God. We believe in all the prophets, from Adam to Muhammad. During that course of time, there have been 124 prophets that have spread the message of monotheism throughout the world. We believe in all the revealed books, the Torah, the Gospel, the Psalms, and the Quran. We believe in angels, and we believe in predestination. We believe that our lives have been written for us. It's just for us to act our part. And so this is something that had run from. But me being here for you today is part of my destiny. And I hope and I believe my grandparents are smiling in heaven. And we also believe in life after death. And the 5 pillars that hold up al-Islam are believing in one God, praying 5 times a day, paying your charity, or zakat, fasting in the month of Ramadan. Ramadan ended just 3 weeks ago, and it was probably the best Ramadan of my life. There's a song, I say, I can see clearly now. I can see clearly now. And the other one is Hajj, making pilgrimage to Saudi Arabia, to Mecca in Saudi Arabia, at least once in your lifetime. I've had the good blessing to make Hajj twice. My wife and I attended together, and I went by myself with a group at one time. So what this has led me to do is come out of my shell, so to speak. And that journey for me began as I became the executive director of the African American Development Association in Oakland, California. We formed our organization to become affordable housing developers. As we were trying to learn about affordable housing development, we became involved in the cleanup of a lead-contaminated park in East Oakland. During that 5-year period, we were able to get the park cleaned up, as well as 29 private properties. We also got the Center for Disease Control to come to East Oakland to blood lead test 465 students at a nearby elementary school. Lead poisoning causes learning disabilities and behavioral problems. The significance of this for me was that our organization won. Seldom had environmental justice victories been won by community organizations. As a result, I got my 15 minutes of fame. I was able to speak all across the United States about environmental justice issues, but also share, my strategy on winning. And during all this, I realized that I had the skill to challenge anyone and be successful. I had other victories on my journey, and I was able to work with good and smart people in the Bay Area, including 3 MacArthur Genius Fellows Award winners, and many other thought leaders in the San Francisco Bay Area. One of my mentors coined a phrase that I have adopted in my work, and that is, honor the work, and the work will honor you. I want to share a funny story with you. It's kind of embarrassing, but it happened. One of the largest and most successful affordable housing developers in the Bay Area, the East Bay Asian Local Development Corporation, EBALSI, was a big supporter of our organization. They gave us our first grant and helped us gain the skills to become developers. A member of that board of directors of EBALSI, he decided he wanted to run for mayor of the city of Oakland. If you know anything about Oakland, Oakland's a chocolate city. Oakland had been led by African-American mayors for many, many, many years. My partner and I believe that the black leadership in Oakland didn't really help the black community change their condition. So we supported our friend, Eddie Balsing. He lost the election, but he appreciated our support. The city of Oakland had, at that time, an at-large city council seat. In the city of Oakland, that seat was considered the Asian seat. The man that held that seat passed, and he was being replaced. The replacement was a civic leader, architect, but he was a slumlord. To free himself from that label, he wanted to sell a 9-unit apartment complex to the African American Development Association. A deal was reached that our organization would buy the building, but we never discussed price. So when we met and reviewed the contract, the asking price was $7. The amusing thing was that I looked at my partner, and my partner looked at me, and we didn't have $7 between us. On top of that, we borrowed $1,000 from the sellers. But the positive lesson about that whole transaction is that we opened a bank account with that money in an Asian bank, and they respected us and loved us ever since. Currently, I am the president of the Pasadena branch of the Naacp. I was elected to lead. The Pasadena branch has been in Pasadena for over 100 years now. As part of our 100-year celebration last September, the branch and my executive committee were invited by the mayor and the city council to come to the city council to congratulate us for our fine work. I spoke and told them that we have been fighting the same issues of discrimination, bias, in Pasadena for 100 years. And that 100 years from now, if someone from the NAACP accepts congratulations for being in business for another 100 years, we have all failed. And I presented a challenge to the city council and the mayor that together, the branch and the city would work to put the NAACP out of business in 30 years. 8 months later, here we are, in probably some of the most challenging times we have ever seen in America. I have a perspective about what's going on, and that is that COVID-19 has exposed everything wrong in America, with the people, me included, being led by incompetence nationwide. This country was unprepared, slow to respond to the warning. If you have been paying attention, our institutions have been eroding for a long time. Our economy has been presenting an illusion to people with smoke and mirrors. Our healthcare system is not working. We were given the harsh reality that many of our jobs and the services we provided are non-essential. When you move to the African American community, these problems are magnified. The economics or the health in our communities is pitiful. Here in Pasadena, we have a public health department that our civic leaders tout, but it's not doing its job in the black community. The economy in the black community is non-existent. You know and heard about the $2.4 trillion stimulus money, the CARES Act. None of that money reached businesses in the black community. Our branch of the NAACP has created our own stimulus fund. What was revealing is that trying to identify business to support with our fund, there were not many in our community. Pick any indicator, and you will find black folks at the bottom. Today, I believe we have to draw a line in the sand. Are we going to allow greed, corruption, and incompetence to destroy this country? Or are we going to fight? Believers, the devil is winning. There are people that want to return to life prior to March 1st, 2020. In my view, we cannot go back. What we followed prior to March 1, 2020 is the things that have got us into the circumstances that we're in today. It was all right if black folks suffered. Now white folks are suffering. Go to a few distribution sites and you will see how food insecure we are. It's not just poor folks in those lines. White families are in those lines as well. People can't pay their rent, can't pay their mortgages. People are seeking payment forgiveness. Let's be real. These people will never catch up. The choice is ours. We have gone so far off the path of God. The world needs to reset. Are we willing to work to create a new America? The protests after the murder of George Floyd has only intensified the reality that Black Americans have nothing to lose. Frustration is on the face of the protesters. White people are protesting too, to show their unhappiness with police abuse, but they are also in this thing too. Today, every institution in America has failed the American people. As a spiritual person, it is clear to me that this is an opportunity for everyone worldwide to get closer to their Creator. Satan has been running wild. The Naacp has a new initiative, #WeAreDoneDying. It came out prior to the George Floyd murder. The initiative is composed of 4 parts: public health, economy, criminal justice, and civic engagement. These were all related to the impact of COVID-19 in the African American community. COVID showed, though it was not a secret, that health disparities in the African American community are glaring, and COVID has made our communities most vulnerable. The economy in the African American community is also in bad shape. The median income of African Americans in America is $41,000, compared to $61,000 for white Americans, the lowest of all ethnic groups. The murder of George Floyd brought the attention to America the need for police reform. Let us pray that we get it. Reducing the budgets of police department is now on the table. Police brutality and the culture of racism in police department is also being discussed all over America. We must rethink what we mean by public safety. And we also need to remember and talk about the number of African American men and women in county jails, state and federal prisons. That also needs to be inspected. Civic engagement, in my view, is where African Americans need and must participate. Voting is important, and this year, 2020, completing the census is also important. Every area of life that impacts African Americans, we need to have people participating and being at the table, from school board meetings to attending city council meetings. Also, when the general plan needs to be updated, we need to be sitting in that conversation. I was asked, what can your community contribute to these institutional disparities? First thing on my list is support your children. Teach your children that there's no room for discrimination and bias. They are our future leaders. I think, as you've seen, these protests have been participated by mostly young people. We've got to let our young people step up and become leaders. And of course, we always need money. Our revenue comes from our annual Ruby McKnight Williams Award Dinner. Several of you attended last year as we honored Rabbi Marvin Gross. This year, due to COVID-19, we will not be hosting an event. Your support to allow us to continue our operations is greatly appreciated. And also, supporting our COVID stimulus fund with your contribution will help distribute funds to businesses in the community. I want to thank you, and I pray I've added value to your living experience. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. You reminded me, as a fellow student of economics, when I was getting my degree in economics, it was during the time of the East Asian miracle of the 90s and the decline thereof, and a saying that was popular at the time: a rising tide lifts all boats, but a lowering tide reveals many rocks. COVID-19 and the aftermath and how we're coping with it, as you say, has exposed several rocks in our culture. And as a recovering economist and a reformed religious person, the rocks that stand out most starkly to me are the idols and the faces of our brothers and sisters. We are having to face the idols, the things that we thought we couldn't live without, the things that we had come to worship. And now we have to question those things. And we are also led to face the faces of our brothers and sisters whom we have not lifted up with the tide. And I thought, wouldn't it be something if every time we prayed, we pledged to take responsibility for, as Abraham, our father, did, to smash those idols, and to look into the faces of our brothers and sisters and say, it is on us to lift them up. Lucky for us, every time we get together and pray, we do say, it is on us, or in Hebrew, Aleinu. Our Aleinu prayer is on page 51. Page 51. Please rise as we start it together.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא עשנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נותן שמיים ועושה לעצמו שמיים על כן לקהלך אדוני אלוהינו יראות מרב ותפארת עוזך כי המלכות שלך היא, ולעולמי עד תמלוך בכבוד, ככתוב את תורתך, אדוני ימלוך, לעולם ועד. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. Before we conclude our service, we remember those who have left the world before us. In the coming week, here at PJTC, we are marking the yahrzeit and the anniversary of the passing of Lorraine Rabinowitz, Selena Fickman, Joseph Fishman, Sylvia Klein, Dolores Martirosian, Leslie Lipton, Sigmund Mendel, Eugene Werner, Edward Zager, the Radkowitz family, Harold Dinnerman, James Dinnerman, Charlotte Beskin, Nate Groban, Samuel Konovitz, August Fingerhut, Charlotte Kunin, Harriet Goldberg, Morris Bershatsky, Libby Silberblatt, Adrian Holzman, Jenny Vicker, Sam Hess, Jeanette Emmerich, Maurice Reichler, Sarah Cohen, Francis Ann Eckstein, Rachel Demerit, Irene Hengzer, Joseph Freeman, Albert Harris, and David Myron. We also laid to rest today Ruth Horowitz, wife of Jack Horowitz and mother of Eric and Karen. Hamakom Yerchem Etchem. May the Holy One who comforts us comfort this family and all those who mourn in our community. I'll ask if you are observing a yahrzeit or in mourning right now, please rise for the Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, on page 52. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah,
Amen.
Ba'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha brihu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran b'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama Rabba min Shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. If you're standing, you may be seated. Are we cutting off at quarter of? Is the camera cutting off at 8:45?
No, it's fine.
Okay. Just a few very brief announcements. In fact, perhaps only one announcement. We've been thinking about these announcements lately. My singular announcement is please read your email. Because, well, you know what, I'm going to do that next week. Because it's Shabbat, I'm not going to ask you to read your email. I will say there's a lot of wonderful stuff going on here, and I hate to pick and choose. I'll tell you about a couple of things. First, we are incredibly grateful for Alan Edson for speaking with us today. You, sir, you do us a great honor with your presence and your wisdom and your generosity of spirit. I want to thank the Social Justice Committee for helping to organize that. There are lots of great things going on here. We have every Friday we have a sing-along Shabbat for the kids at 10 a.m. We have meditation groups on Tuesdays at 8:40 and on Shabbat on Saturdays at 12:45. We have a wonderful class with Rabbi Jason Mann. All of those things can be found in our regular bulletins, along with the links to those things. If I neglected to mention anyone, please forgive me. But we're finding new ways of connecting, and we want to make sure we take advantage of those. But I will say, as best you can, sing out. Speak your heart to those who need to hear it, as you need to stay home and stay safe. And on behalf of this community, let me wish you a Shabbat Shalom and invite you to stick around for Kiddush after our concluding song. It sounds better if you sing standing up wherever you are, so please do. Rise and we'll sing together.
Let's join together.
Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Shalom, shalom, salam Aleinu ve'al kulam. Salam, shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbos, everybody. So I'll invite you to break bread with us if you wish. We have a couple of blessings. I like this prayer. Glad. Take one, we got plenty of it. We do a thing with wine and bread. The wine this evening is played like grape juice, so if you don't drink alcohol, we don't have any here.
So as you go and get your Kiddush cup and your challah, we are putting on our gloves and making sure that we have everything that we need. Please take one of those ones. And let's join together. You guys ready? There, wherever you are. If it's too late, make sure you drink juice. Let's join together. ויערב ויהי בוקר יום השישי, ויחולו השמיים והארץ, וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים ביום השביעי, מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי, מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. Together, ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, ושבת קודשו ואהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית. כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת עם כהנים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת. לחיים.
We'll have the mitzvah of hand washing before we break bread, and I'll do it on your behalf, or you can wash at home. As my rabbi says, those who wish to wash, wash as you wish.
Wish to wash.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim.
Amen. And last but not least, together, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tehavon. Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbos.
We'll see you next week.